particular advice I can provide, and some I can't. And then I've got to make the suggestions. And then it's the usual government issues that come to me on a daily basis that I have to deal with as well. But I hold a special license, and the term certified financial planner is part of that. So when people come to me, they really are wanting to deal with financial planning. And not everybody can use that particular term because it's trademarked. But for me to be a financial planner, I need to have a fairly comprehensive understanding of the client who's sitting at the other end of the camera, because we use Zoom. And so for me to do that, I've got to understand how that family allocates its resources. In other words, how they deal with the income that they receive, what they do with that income, and what do they do inevitably when they run out of money. So they then get involved in debt. What kind of debt mechanisms do they use? What is the cost of that mechanism? And then I've got to try and get them to understand what is the consequences of using debt, because they're making that initial call to me because it's now got out of control, and they're now needing to work out what to do, or else they've started a business and now they're becoming a little uneasy about the volume of business and I'm not sure how to deal with it. So I've got to have a fairly clear understanding of what they're doing, and I must have some kind of understanding of how they behave, because most of our problems around money is the behavioral patterns that we've picked up. That's what's wrong. It's very seldom the fact that we don't have enough money. It's the way we are dealing with that money that becomes a problem. Now, that's it on a micro level. On a macro level, government does things that also affects our finances, and I need to understand that. So in about 6 hours' time, a certain minister is going to open up a parliamentary session, and then the Reserve Bank governor is going to make an announcement. And that's going to be how the interest rate is going to change. Now, he sits with a committee of 5 people, and he's probably going to announce that the interest rate will drop 0.25%. My feeling still is his mother should give him a hiding.
Okay.
Because he really should drop that interest rate by 0.5%.
So 0.5%, not a quarter
Not a
of a
quarter.
percent. Yeah.
Because our inflation rate is now so low that he should be giving us a break. But he's a very conservative person, and he's going to look at the short term, and he's going to work on that basis. He's going to say the inflation is going to turn in 2 or 3 months' time, and it's going to go up again, and therefore he's not prepared to take the risk. But whatever theory he has, based on what we know and the same figures we're looking at, he's making a mistake. Now, the problem is that if he puts it down at 0.25, it means the average person with a bond is going to have 300 rand more in their pocket next month. Now, that may not seem a lot, but if you add the debt on the car and all the debt on the credit card, that means they could have 500 rand more. Now, what the minister doesn't understand, if he drops it by double that, it's going to be as if 50 million people have got an increase in salary. And that's going to make a massive difference, especially during December, when we're not only celebrating Christmas, more expenditure. In Cape Town, we're inviting the world to join us in Cape Town. That's extra expenses for many of us. In addition to that, in January, the schools open. So we've got more. So we need as much as possible right now, and he's not going to take that into account. So my understanding of macroeconomics and his understanding of macroeconomics doesn't agree. And that's where I have a problem. But I do know that his decision makes a big difference to the average Joe in the street. Massive. And how they are going to experience the next 2 or 3 months. Then people often come to me and they say, I want to buy shares. Now, if they say to me, I want to buy shares that I know is going to increase by 30% within the next 12 months, I can make a recommendation. But now I have a problem because I'm a Christian. And I don't particularly like the idea of buying shares in a company in another country that's going to use that money to make war and to kill another couple of 100,000 people in the next 12 months.
Yo.
And is that ethical that as a financial advisor, I recommend that you support a company that's involved in armaments? So then I have a very difficult decision. I have to say to you, this is an option, but this is the consequences of that option. And you're going to have to live with that according to your conscience, because it may be the person who's talking to me is an agnostic anyway, and they don't believe what I believe, but it is a problem. Or they can come to me and say, I want a safe. Well, there is a company that sells furniture. They're making a lot more profit than other companies, but they're making the profit because they're selling that furniture on debt. And it is the debt and the money they make from the interest and the added costs that make them profitable.
Whoa.
So if you want to buy that company, you can, but remember, you're earning not from the selling of furniture. You're earning from the consequences that those families are doing. Millions of them who are buying furniture and now sitting with a very heavy debt burden. So that is another ethical decision that one has to make. And then, of course, somebody will come to me and say, but I really like this particular company. It's fine. Be aware that that company makes its money from the 40 billion rands worth of gambling. And if you're okay about making your money that way, then feel free to do so. So the decisions that we have to make sometimes has tough dilemmas. There's tough ethical decisions that we have to do. And that is why I suggest that if you're taking your advice from a salesperson who's had 6 months of training about selling policies, then that's what you're going to get. But if you want a strategy that fits your ethics, then you really have to work with a certified financial planner. There are 3,500 of us in South Africa. They're not difficult to find. You can get ethical advice from a certified financial planner.
Sure. And that's what it is about. That is really, really so on point. Nico, thank you so much for your time, sir. And again, you don't know what you don't know. So find somebody who knows the right way to deal with finances, to deal with investments, and somebody who's not doing it because they're going to get a fat wad of commission coming their way, but rather somebody who can do it ethically and in a way that's going to give you great advice. Nico Kleynhans, thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.